joining us today. Today we're going to be interviewing Margo and discussing her novel, Michel-Michelle, as you can see behind me. I'm just knocking it over. Pretty cover by Margo. We have 4 questions. We're going to discuss them and then let us know what you think. So, hi Margo, how are you?
Hello Sophie, I'm fine actually. Yeah, really stormy outside, but snug inside.
Is it raining there?
No, there's actually a really real storm that threatens to blow the roof off the house, but luckily hasn't so far.
Good.
It's really stormy. We're catching the end of some storm that's coming up with a real strong storm warning.
Oh wow, okay. We've not. It's just been hot and a bit cloudy and windy, but it's not stormy at all here. Well, so today we're going to talk about your book, this lovely covered book. I do love the cover for this. Michel-Michelle. And so we'll just start off with the most simple question, which is, why did you write this novel and what was your inspiration behind it?
Why? I suppose it comes from my commitment to diversity, but also the suffering hidden behind that. Yeah. I think all writers have a bit of suffering hidden there somewhere, even comic writers. For me, the suffering that is foisted on all of us through the stereotypes of male and female has been one of the worst things in my life, really.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that it's made me committed to diversity, but the inspiration for some of that diversity has come from people that I knew 40 years ago, and included in that is a young man who is the son of a transgender birth father. And he said to me when I met them both, he said that his birth father had become another mother to him.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me. I don't know if he'd remember, but it really stuck with me. And it's helped me to think of transgender in a different way. And I think it's a good reminder that sometimes we are in touch with people with experience of transgender in their family who don't act, or their friendship network, who don't actually speak about it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make a commitment to speak out more about the whole issue of not just transgender, but the fluidity of gender identity.
Yeah.
Against this way of being boxed in and polarized into male or female, when I think we've all got a bit of male or female in us, certainly me anyway, but that's too long a topic for now. I would like, if I could, I would like to tell the story of when I announced to the writers group, and I belong to the Tyrconnell Writers Group in Donegal Town here in Ireland. I admitted to some anxiety about bringing a book out about transgender. And it's not really about transgender, because the main character is the son of a transgender person, and it's about him. But the topic, of course, was quite hot at the time in Ireland. And then one of the writers group said, well, she said, it reminds me of a conversation I had with my grandson. And she is a bit younger than me, but women of our age remember very clearly that when we went to Mass on Sundays in Donegal, the men would go to the pews on one side of the church and the women would go to the pews on the other side of the church. And she was describing this strange custom to Diarmuid, her grandson. And Diarmuid said, and where did the transgender go? And and she said, of course, well, people weren't really open about that in those days. And he said, well, I think the good old days are not so good then. I think today it's better because we're more open. And so my novel, Michel-Michelle, is a contribution to that openness, I hope, and discussion of that.
Yes, no, I think it does. I think it brings up some interesting questions, like you say, and it pushes some of those topics, and it's out there, like you say. It makes the discussion, which is sometimes all we need, is just a bit more discussion.
Yeah, and reflection, and
no,
compassion.
I like, yes, very much so.
Yeah.
What's next for you, Margo? And are we going to see any more novels from you?
Well, I'm working on 2 novels at the moment, actually. I'm not being very creative as such at the moment, but I am editing 2 novels that have been around for a while in computer files here and there, and how to go with them. And with the help of an Irish writer, I'm editing one, and with the help of the writers group, I'm editing another. One is about a young woman who lives in Manchester in England.
Right.
And she has problems with her identity as a mix of Scottish, Irish, and English in her background. And then she plays in a band and works in a pub to get her by. But she's got a bit of a crisis in her life, really, and it's about her.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds interesting. Yeah.
The other one is about an older man and a translator who has retired into the wilds of Donegal. It's practically off-grid. That's a different story.
They both sound very
facing regrets and threats and challenges from a young woman journalist.
Ooh. Are we going to see those manuscripts ourselves at Victorina, or?
Well, I'd be delighted when and if they're ready, Sophie. I'd be delighted if you'd consider them.
You know very well that we love your writing. We'd be very happy to consider them. So I look forward to receiving them.
Thank you.
Okay, so obviously the big question that everybody is kind of talking about, the big elephant in the room, is how are you finding isolation, and how is it affecting your writing and just day-to-day life?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix, Sophie. One of the things that really strikes me is that my emotions are really close to the surface. I can suddenly surprise myself by bursting into tears. And then I realize that nearly everybody else is going through something similar. And that's a bit odd, because in some ways I'm quite isolated here in Donegal anyway. I get on with my writing in the morning, gardening or house things in the afternoon, and maybe friends if I get a chance for a walk or a chat or writing group. So to begin with, I found it awful. I couldn't even write. And then gradually, with my brother, one of my brothers introduced me to Zoom.
Yeah.
And we started Zoom for family. And then we introduced the writers group to Zoom. And we've had some terrific Zoom sessions.
Good.
And in between, we're exchanging editing through email. So it's been a real boon for our writers group that we can continue to meet. So with Zoom and with Skype and with WhatsApp and FaceTime, and in some ways I'm less isolated, but I do miss my partner, who is in Berlin since the launch of Michel-Michelle, since that weekend after it. I really miss him, of course. Yeah. And I miss, I miss hugs.
Yeah.
Hugs from friends, hugs from family. Social distancing with the postman isn't quite the same.
No. I mean, we've had similar, obviously, you just kind of get on, and like you say, you can kind of get in touch with people over the internet. It's nice, but having the physical connection is hard. We go pick up books from the office for posting things, and I see mother-in-laws and that, and I just want to go over and give them a big hug, and I can't. I've got to stay away.
That's tough.
It is hard.
And who knows when we're going to be able to hug again? Yeah.
It's that. But like you say, we're all in the situation. We're all just sort of.
That's been the interesting thing, that all over the world, all over the world, we're not in the privileged position that I'm in. I have loads of space here. I'm in rural Donegal, and I think of people in camps and cramped spaces. And, when I think of people in those circumstances, I think really I can't feel sorry for myself or cry for myself, really. you know, I have got a lot of privileges here, and I should be working out ways to share them and not be feeling sorry for myself.
It's not a bad thing to think about what you can take from it, the light side and the silver linings, and like you say, you do have here we've got a garden, and there is privileges that some will have compared to others, but also everybody's problems are relative to themselves, so everybody will feel it in some way and feel sad and feel trapped in their own particular way. So it's just not letting it get on top of you, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, really. Do my best not to let it get on top of me.
Yeah, and like you say, keep connected with everybody else as best you can.
Yeah.
So my last big question, which is something that's close to the heart of Victorina Press, and you know a lot about how we feel about bibliodiversity, but what does bibliodiversity mean to you?
Oh, finding bibliodiversity was a real breakthrough for me. When I discovered Victorina's Press and its commitment to bibliodiversity, suddenly the important things to me came together in my life.
Yeah.
Obviously, getting a publisher, which is not easy.
No.
You know, it's not easy to get a publisher. And then to find a publisher where you actually could have contact with real people, not just you know, marketing person or something, and a publisher who read your books, not just sends them out to somebody else to read. So finding a publisher was great, but a publisher committed to bibliodiversity. For me, diversity is the key to my life. So through thinking about diversity and having interesting experiences in my life provoked by diversity and a commitment to diversity, that has carried me forward and kept me going through good times and bad times. And then the commitment to biodiversity, not publishing great pallets full of books that end up in a warehouse somewhere gathering dust, but with a commitment to publishing a few books, and if they sell, then publish some more. And it's not quite print on demand, but nearly, and I think that's a really good idea. And then, of course, there's ebooks, which, you know, my ebooks now out.
Yay! Online on Amazon.
Yeah, my ebooks now out. So, and then another plus has been the other writers, Sophie.
Yeah.
There's a whole community of writers, and they're just really friendly, and they're diverse in themselves and fun, and also I've got histories like Nasreen's book on prison in Iran, and you know, there's just such a wealth of experience and compassion there that I just find that's been a real eye-opener for me.
Yeah, I love that all of you, and we all love me, Consuelo, George, we all love how, not only how much effort you're willing to put in yourselves to help us, but your connections to each other and how much you're willing to support each other and talk to each other and give each other ideas. It's really good to see everybody working together. It's nice.
And that's really good for me as well. And that being here in Donegal, we're on the fringes of Ireland, never mind, you know, the other islands. On the fringes of Europe. Then you know, it means a lot to me to be connected to people who are in England as well, and that's good. And these Zoom sessions with you have been a real bonus through this.
Yes, I've enjoyed coming on Zoom and chatting to you and having little conversations, and it's fun. And it breaks up something new and interesting to do, and we can feel like we're still doing our job and the thing that we love. And your writing you love, and mine is promoting all your books and making sure they get out there. Like, I love doing this, so it's nice to keep in touch.
But it was especially lovely to meet you in Dublin, I have to say.
Yeah, I love Dublin. Well, Dublin's like Ireland for me is a home away from home.
Oh, great. We'll have to get into those Irish roots someday.
Exactly. I mean, it's not very many Irish roots, but I feel it when I'm over there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you. I know it was only a few questions, but I think that you covered a lot, and they were quite deep questions. To anybody who is watching, thank you very much for joining. If you do have any more questions, I'm sure we could do another little question interview session again another day, Margo.
Love to chat to you anytime, Sophie.
Excellent. So if anybody does have any questions, please feel free to comment below and let us know, and then maybe we can arrange another interview. But thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Bye, Sophie. Bye, everybody who listens.